Welcome to another episode of the JCMoseley FC Podcast. I'm Elliot, and as always, we're here with Christian. How's it going, Christian?
Doing great, man. How are you doing, Elliot?
Yeah, I'm doing all right. Doing not too bad. We got a lot to talk about. The World Cup draw for the 2026 World Cup just happened for all the group stages, so we're going to kind of talk through that. AFCON is coming up as well, so we're going to talk about that, the Africa Cup of Nations, and some more focus on international football this episode.
Absolutely. It's going to be a great episode. We're going to have a lot of fun recording it.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, let's dive right in. We'll take a look at the World Cup draw. So what we've decided that we're going to do to our listeners is we're going to kind of talk about different stages of the World Cup in kind of every episode leading up to the World Cup. So we're not going to cover everything comprehensively today. We'll keep coming back for more because we'll keep talking more about the rest of the groups and the rest of the knockouts and all of those things as we kind of get closer to the World Cup. So yes, but today we're going to be focusing on groups A to F. We'll kind of look through the groups, we'll look at the fixtures, and then kind of go from there. So you want to kick us off with Group A?
Yes, Group A, there'll be Mexico, South Africa, South Korea, and one of the teams from UEFA Path D. And just to make sure we know what those four teams are: Czech Republic, Republic of Ireland, Denmark, and North Macedonia. So one of those teams will be the fourth team in that group. So yeah, the first game will be Mexico and South Africa. That'll be the opener in Mexico City, Estadio Azteca. And then I predict a win from Mexico here, 2-1 to Mexico. What do you think, Elliot?
I think Mexico's going to take it. They're kicking off the tournament in their home stadium with their home fans. I think you got to fancy them to win this one.
Yes. And what will be your score prediction?
I'm going to go 2-0 Mexico.
2-0 Mexico. Okay. Yeah, and then the second game on the same day will be South Korea, and then obviously the team that will join UEFA Path D, the winner for that path. So they'll be at Estadio Akron and Zapopan, and I believe Mexico will win. South Korea will win this game. I also predict a 2-1.
Yeah,
I think so. Yeah.
I think for me it depends on who makes it through that UEFA playoff path. So I think Czech Republic, Republic of Ireland, North Macedonia. I think if it's one of those three, I think South Korea probably would edge it. So if it's one of those three, I'd agree with you. I think maybe 2 or 3-1 South Korea. If it's Denmark, however, that are the team that makes it through, I can see that being a much closer game. I think Denmark have a strong team, and I would say if it's Denmark, I'd say 1-1. Otherwise, I'd say South Korea wins it 3-1. If it's any of the other three teams.
All right. So the next games for that group will be a week later on June 18. So there will be South Africa and a UEFA Path D winner at Mercedes-Benz in Atlanta. So I believe that I see South Africa winning that game. And I think it's going to be like 1-0. What about you?
Okay. Yeah, I guess with these playoff ones, I'll kind of stick with my same theme. I think if it's Denmark, I think Denmark wins that 2-1 maybe. Otherwise, I'll go for a draw. I'd go for 1-1 for any of the other teams.
Yep.
But I may very well be massively underestimating South Africa. I'm not sure how good of a team they have, if I'm being quite honest. I know this is their first World Cup since they hosted back in 2010, so I am excited to see how they're going to get on.
Yeah, the thing about South Africa is that they made it to the semi-final of the last AFCON, and then they beat Nigeria, the top of the group instead of Nigeria, to be at the World Cup, and they deserve to be there. So that's why I'm backing them.
Okay.
But and obviously the top game of that group is Mexico, South Korea. That's a big game, and Estadio Akron and Zapopan. And I predict a draw here. I think it's solid 1-1.
Okay. I will also go for a draw. I think I'm going to go 2-2. But I think that could be one of the more entertaining games to watch. I wouldn't be surprised if Mexico do win it, though. Again, playing with their home fans behind them. But South Korea have got a pretty strong team as well. Yeah, I'm going to say 2-2.
Okay, so on June 24th, 2026, there will be 2 games at the same time as the third game. We have UEFA Path D winner and Mexico. So I believe that it's going to be a draw here, 1-1 between Mexico and a UEFA Path D winner. What about you? What do you think?
I think, despite what I was saying previously about depending on who the UEFA Path D playoff winner is, I think I would push for Mexico to win this. I think they're going to win it 1-0. I think with the fans behind them, potentially also depending on other results, they may need a win. So I'm gonna say they're gonna get the job done. It's gonna be nervy 1-0 to Mexico.
All right, so the next game will be South Africa and South Korea at Estadio Bivea and Guadalupe. So I want to see an upset here. I'm gonna go 2-1 South Africa on this game.
Okay, I feel like I may be underestimating South Africa a little bit now.
You are. I mean, I'm a little bit biased still, but for obvious reasons. But I think I'm gonna go 1-1. I think that one's gonna finish in a draw. I'm just basing this off my gut instinct, but that's what I'm gonna say. 1-1. 1-1. Okay. So now we have to go back now. Who do you think is gonna top the group in this game?
Yes. Well, I think Mexico is going to be the favorites, aren't they, to top the group here. I think they'll probably finish top. I think South Korea will. Again, I think it really depends on who the playoff winner is. If it's Denmark, I can see Denmark finishing in second. If it's one of the others, I could still see them finish in third. I don't know. Again, maybe I'm massively underestimating South Africa, but I see South Africa finishing fourth, to be quite honest. And then I think it would be close between second and third place, South Korea and the UEFA playoff winners. But I don't know. What do you think?
I really think that obviously I think Mexico is going to top the group. I think it's going to be a very tight group. I think Mexico's going to top the group. And I do see South Africa, because of that last win, they're going to be second. And then I see South Korea finishing third and the UEFA party finishing the group at the bottom. That'll be my prediction. But I really think South Korea is going to go through because they're going to be one of the best 13 teams. But yeah, this is what I see based on my predictions.
Yeah. In a sense, I hope you're right, because I'd love to see South Africa finish in that top 2. I think that would be amazing for them. I don't think they made it out of the group when they hosted in 2010, did they? So
no, they did not.
I think for them to get through, even if it's as a third place team, I think it would be amazing. So I'd love to see that for them. I hope it does. I hope you're right about that. Should we take a look at Group B?
Yes, Group B.
Yeah, so we've got Canada, another one of the host countries, the UEFA Playoff Path A, which those 4 teams are Italy, Wales, Bosnia-Herzegovina, and Northern Ireland. So one of those 4 teams will be in that other place. Then it's Qatar and Switzerland. So those are the teams in Group B. The first game of Group B is going to be Canada against whoever wins that UEFA Path A playoff in Toronto on June the 12th. I am going to go for a 2-1 win to Canada.
Oh, I love Canada. I've been there a few times, and it's a great country. People are actually, it's not a stereotype. Canadians are really nice. But I don't see them. I think this World Cup is going to be a failure to them. And I hope they prove me wrong, So I don't see them winning any games on this World Cup. But again, that's my opinion. But okay, the first game for sure, UEFA Path A. So those teams are Wales, Bosnia and Herzegovina. okay, I'm like Bosnia, and then we have Italy and Northern Ireland. I think they're gonna probably play Italy, and I don't see them winning that game. So it's gonna be a solid 2-1 for whoever go through that to the path.
Okay,
Unfortunately for
interesting.
Canada. Yep.
I like that we have a lot of kind of different predictions this time. I feel like a lot of the time when we do predictions, we kind of agree with each other on a lot of things, but this, I feel like we have a lot of different ones. I have a feeling we might agree on this next one though. On June 13th in Santa Clara, California, it's Qatar against Switzerland. I think this is going to be quite a comfortable win for Switzerland, to be quite honest. I think, fair play to Qatar for qualifying. I mean, they obviously hosted the last World Cup, so they played in the last edition as well, but this time they had to qualify to get there, and they managed it, so that's great for them. Again, I'm not too sure exactly how good their team is in comparison to others at this World Cup, but I will say that I think Switzerland are going to win this one comfortably, and I'm going to say it's 3-0 Switzerland.
Yeah, I was very close to saying 3-0, but I'm going to say 3-1. Because Qatar is actually, they won the Asian Cup. I think they were the last team to win the Asian Cup. So they've grown a lot. It's a team one of the best teams in Asia. So I'm going to give them at least one, but I don't see them beating Switzerland or even tying to Switzerland at all. So just remind me, Elliot, what was the score prediction for the first game? You say it.
I said 2-1 to Canada.
2-1 to Canada. Okay. All right, that's interesting. All right, so the next games we're gonna have will be
June 18th will be Switzerland against whoever wins that UEFA Path A playoff. I think probably quite likely to be potentially Italy, but you never know. And that's going to be at SoFi Stadium in Inglewood, California. I think we shouldn't underestimate Switzerland. I think they're always a pretty strong team, and I'm going to go with a 1-0 win to Switzerland in this one.
Yeah, I see Switzerland actually winning all those games, so I'm gonna go with 1-0 Switzerland. I'm gonna agree with you on this one. 1-0 to Switzerland, and then we're gonna do. Yeah.
Okay.
I definitely see that. Yep.
Yeah. And then the other game on that same date, June 18th, is Canada against Qatar in Vancouver. Again, I think this one, I don't know. I do feel like Canada do have a pretty good team at the moment. They've got quite a lot of good players playing in Europe. Being at home as well, I think there's a good chance that they could do well. So again, I'm going to predict that they win this one, and I'm going to say they win it 2-1.
I actually don't see them winning this one. I think I'm gonna go for a draw. I think it's gonna be 1-1 here, even though they're playing home. I know they're a good team, but it's just the World Cup comes to experience. For some reason, I mean, I don't know if you. I mean, obviously, you're a football fan. Yeah, you've been a football fan your whole life, so I don't know if you noticed that the World Cup is all about experience. You know what I mean? And yeah, if you look at all the teams, I mean, it's the same teams that win the World Cup for a reason. If you think about it, there's only 8 teams out of 256 countries, whatever how many countries there are. Only 8 countries have won the World Cup, and it's for a reason. I think it's mostly about, for some reason, it's like, how you call it? It's football heritage. You know how you call it? And I just feel like Qatar has more experience than Canada in international games by winning the Asian Cup. So I think people are really underestimating Qatar. So I'm going to see a draw here, and I'm going to predict 1-1 on this game.
Okay. Cool. And then the final round of games in Group B is going to be on June 24th. The first one will be Switzerland against Canada in Vancouver as well. I think realistically here, I think Switzerland are going to be too strong for Canada, and I think Switzerland will win this one 2-0.
Yeah, I'm actually agree with you on this one. Switzerland, Canada, 2-0. Easy for Switzerland there.
Okay, and then the final game of that group is going to be the UEFA Playoff Path A winner against Qatar in Seattle. I again, I feel like this is very similar to what I was saying about South Africa, and I may be completely underestimating Qatar, but I don't see them winning. I mean, you know, I think they'll lose this game 2-1, and that puts me, I think, at predicting they're going to lose all 3 of their games. But I don't know. I think the rest of the teams in that group, personally, in my opinion, are just a little too strong. But yeah, I'm going to go 2-1 to the whoever wins that Path A playoff in that final game.
Yeah, I will also agree with this one. I'll say 2-1 for whoever wins the playoff against Qatar. And then for the table prediction, obviously Switzerland, I think they're going to win all the games. They're going to be top of the group. And then I see UEFA, the UEFA path to be second in that group. And the third best team is probably going to be Canada. Actually, no, yeah, Canada is going to be the third best team. And then Qatar, I see them on the bottom of the group.
Yeah. I think slightly similar. I mean, I'd see Switzerland winning the group relatively comfortably, if I'm being honest. I would put Canada in second based on my predictions of results there. I do think the home advantage will play a big part for them. The UEFA playoff team in third, and Qatar in fourth on 0 points. Sorry.
Okay. All right.
Let's move on to Group C.
So Group C, this is actually going to be one of the more interesting groups, and no offense to the other 2 groups, but Morocco and Brazil is one of the top games at this World Cup, like from the whole, from not just from the group stages, but I think from like the beginning of the World Cup to the end. No matter who misses in the final, this is going to be a big game. Morocco, they are on the run. They have won, I don't know how many consecutive games as the time of the recording, December 14th, 2024. They've won a lot of games in a row. They are really solid right now. I see Brazil struggling to beat. I mean, obviously, see Brazil, you're gonna think it's gonna be an easy run for them. I actually see a solid 2-2 here between those 2 teams. What do you think?
Yeah, I agree that I think this could be a really good match, maybe a lot better than some people would initially think. I wouldn't be surprised at all if Morocco edge this one and if they win. I think Brazil have a lot of talent. I mean, Brazil's a very talented squad. They always do. I don't know. You know what? Now I'm thinking about it. I'm going to backtrack on that, and I'm going to say, because I forgot too, I just remembered that Carlo Ancelotti is now the Brazil national team manager as well, and he obviously has a lot of experience, not so much in the World Cup, but in Champions League, big competitions, navigating this kind of pressure. Morocco, though, also semi-finalists at the last World Cup, so I think 1-1 is what I'm going to say.
Okay, so you have Haiti and Scotland. So, sorry, Haiti. It would be nice to do something, but a solid 3-0 here, because Scotland is actually, really good the past, 4 years. Solid team. Yeah, a solid 3-0 here for Scotland.
Yeah, I think I'm going to have to agree with you. I think I'm going to say 3-1 to Scotland, just to be a little bit different. But I think Scotland will still win this one comfortably.
All right, the next one is Morocco and Scotland. I'm going to back, my African brothers here. I'm going to go with a solid 2-0 for Morocco.
Yeah. I think Scotland will give them a game, but I think ultimately Morocco will win. I'm going to say 2-1 to Morocco.
Okay, so next one, Brazil and Haiti. Oh, sorry. I'm sorry. I shouldn't be laughing, but if you saw it's not the same Brazil from like 2002. This is it's not the same Brazil from 2002, right? Because that's the magic of the World Cup now, because they extended to 16 teams. So now you're gonna see Haiti against Brazil. So for Haiti just to be there against Brazil, it's like a dream come true for them, for people from Haiti and stuff. So But oh my god, that is not gonna be a fun one. I see it's only 5-0 for Brazil. Hopefully not more than that, but it's
Yeah,
gonna be
I was going to say,
a bad one.
I think this will be an example of what you were saying earlier about experience really coming into play. I think Brazil, obviously, not only on the World Cup stage, but they have a lot of players that play at the highest level in Europe and South America in their squad. And Haiti, the Haitians just don't have that level of experience in their squad in terms of their players. So I'm going to say 4-0 to Brazil. But I think this one could be, I think it could be more than 4, but I'm going to say 4-0.
Scotland and Brazil. I see Brazil winning this game a solid 2-1 here for Brazil.
Okay, interesting. I was going to say the same thing, actually. I think Scotland will be a team that a lot of people maybe underestimate, but I think they actually are quite solid and they are quite a good team. But Brazil will have too much for them. I think I'm going to agree with you, and I'm going to say 2-1 to Brazil.
Morocco, Haiti. I see Morocco winning this one comfortably too. A solid 3-0 here for Morocco.
Yes. I am going to say 4-1 to Morocco. I think Haiti will struggle, to be honest. But I would love to see them score a goal.
All right. So now let's go to the group. So I believe it's going to be very close between Brazil and Morocco. At the end of the day, it's going to be the team with the better goal difference. Because I predict that they're going to draw the first game and they're going to win the last 2 games. So I still see Brazil topping the group because they're going to score more goals than Morocco. So Brazil for me, Morocco second, Scotland third, and Haiti last.
You know what? I think this is one where I'm also going to agree with exactly what you just said. Brazil, Morocco, Scotland. I think Scotland will have a good chance of being one of those best third place teams. But yeah, Brazil, Morocco, Scotland, Haiti. So Group D, we have the third and final host country is in Group D, the United States. They're there with Paraguay, Australia, and the winner of the UEFA Path C playoff, which is Turkey, Slovakia, Kosovo, or Romania. So if we're looking at the first set of fixtures in that group, the United States play Paraguay on June the 12th. I'm going to say this is going to be 1-1. I'm going to put this as a draw.
So the US team has progressed a lot the past year. I know they were terrible last year. They've been improving a lot. So I'm gonna back a solid US team here. US win here 2-0 for them against Paraguay.
Okay. Australia and the Path C playoff winner will be the second game. This is a tough one to predict on because I'm really not sure about how good any of the teams that are in this conversation are. I think I'm going to be boring again and do a cop out and say 1-1. I'm going to say all of those games are going to finish 1-1 on that first day of Group D.
All right, so I see Australia beating whoever joins. I'd say 1-0 for Australia here.
Okay. United States against Australia on match day 2 in Group D. That's on June 19th. I think this would be a close one again as well. I think it'll be interesting to see which version of the US national team actually turns up, because I think they do have a solid group of players, but I don't know. I think that it feels like there's still a lot of questions to be answered in terms of how they're going to do come the actual tournament. So that being said, I think they're still going to win this one. I'm going to give it to them 2-1.
So, yeah, I think the US is going to win this one too. Sorry, are we talking about the Paraguay team or Paraguay UEFA?
United States against Australia.
Okay. Yes, Australia. Yeah, a 2-1, solid 2-1 is good. Yep, 2-1 for the US.
And then the other game will be the obviously the UEFA Path C against Paraguay. I'm going to give that one to the. Oh, that's another difficult. I mean, this is quite a difficult group to predict. I think I think I'm going to also give that one a 2-2 draw.
I'm gonna give you the 1-1 draw here between those two teams.
Okay. Cool. And then the final match day of Group D is June the 25th. The UEFA Path C winner will play the United States. I am going to say that's 1-1 as well.
I'm gonna predict the US to win this one. A solid 2-0 here.
Okay.
I guess whoever they play against.
And then the final match there is Paraguay against Australia. I can definitely see Paraguay winning this one. I'm going to say 2-0.
Ooh, I see a draw. Australia is a really solid team. I know. I think somebody a 2-2 here. 2-2 draw.
Okay. So looking then back at the overall table predictions as a whole, yeah, I think the US will finish in one of those top two positions. I think that the UEFA Path C team will maybe finish in second, Paraguay in third, and Australia fourth. I think I'm going to go with that. Again, that's just kind of based on my gut instincts. So I could be very, very wrong.
Okay, so I'm going to go with US topping this group easily. And then I want to say that the second best team, I think based on the score prediction I was predicting, I will say it's going to be Australia finishing second. And then I see Paraguay finishing third, and then the UEFA Path C actually be at the bottom of the group. Like the whole world is actually catching up to Europe, you know. So I really believe that it's not going to be a walk in the park for all European teams anymore.
Yeah,
honestly.
I think that's one of the things that's going to be really interesting to see in this World Cup. I mean, Europe obviously has Europe and South America really have dominated World Cups throughout history. And I you know, this could be a bias for me having grown up in Europe, but I do feel like the European teams are a lot stronger than everybody else. But I think, yeah, I think we could see a few surprises, and I think Australia got the potential to be one of those. I think, yeah, it'd be really interesting to see how the United States does as well. Whether they can kind of handle the pressure of a home tournament. Anyway, shall we move on to Group E? I'll let you kick us off with that one.
So Group E is a very particular group because I'm actually planning on assisting two of the games. So Germany, Ivory Coast, and then Curacao and Ecuador. So the first game in that group will be Germany and Curacao. I see a solid 3-0 here for Germany.
Yeah, I think Germany's going to win this one quite comfortably. I'm going to say 4-0.
No. Yep. And the next one is going to be Ivory Coast and Ecuador. So I want to be a little bit biased here, you know, because of Ivory Coast, but I'm going to predict a 2-1 victory for Ivory Coast. I think we can do it. And, you know, we really need to beat Ecuador on this game. So I hope that I'm going to be there. Hopefully we win. So what about you?
I think Ecuador are a very, very good team. But you know, I'm gonna have to back the Ivory Coast on this one too, man. I'm gonna say 2-1 to Ivory Coast as well. We have to.
Yeah.
We have
absolutely,
to.
Man. All right, the next one, Germany and Ivory Coast. So as much as I want something to come out of this game, I think it's gonna be a loss here for Ivory Coast, 2-0 to Germany. That's what I'm going to predict. And obviously, you know, my heart doesn't want to say it, but, you know, I'm going to be try to be neutral here. Hopefully we beat Germany. You know, I'm going to be at that game. I'm going to cheer for Ivory Coast the whole way. But I don't see us being Germany. And I think it's going to be 2-0 for Germany here.
Yeah.
What do you think, Ayat?
I do think Germany will probably just edge it as well. But I think it's going to be close. I'm going to say 2-1 to Germany. I think Ivory Coast will put up a good fight in that one.
Okay, so Ecuador, Curaçao. Ecuador, after losing the first game, they're probably going to come back. A solid 2-0 here to them against Curaçao.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think Ecuador will be too strong. I think I'm going to say 3-0 to Ecuador.
Okay, and then the next game is going to be Curaçao and Ivory Coast. I see a solid win here for Ivory Coast. Excuse me. I see a good 3-0 for Ivory Coast here against Curaçao.
Yeah, I think. You know what? I'm going to say the same thing. That I was thinking 3-0. I'm going to stick with it. I'm going to say 3-0 Ivory Coast.
And in this big game, Ecuador, Germany, I actually see Ecuador getting something out of it. I see them drawing against Germany 2-2. That'd be my prediction.
Okay, I feel like you're a mind reader because I was literally going to say 2-2 in this one as well.
Yeah.
I was going to say the exact same thing. I think too, because we both kind of predict that Germany's going to win their first 2 games. 6 points typically is enough to finish in the top 2. So, I could see them resting a lot of players, and settling for a point there. So, yeah. Predictions for the group as a whole.
Yes, so I see Germany topping the group. I think they're gonna win all their games. Actually, except the last one. So I see them finishing with 7 points as the top of the group. I believe Ivory Coast, because they'll win 2 games, they'll finish second, and then Ecuador they will win. They're obviously gonna have 1 draw, 1 win, and 1 loss. So they're gonna have 4 points in total. So they'll finish third. And then Curaçao at the bottom of the group. I think they're going to lose all the games.
Yeah, I think we're in agreement on this one too. I think Germany will top the group pretty comfortably. I think Ivory Coast will be in second. I think Ecuador will have a really, really good shout for being one of the best third place teams. Like we both kind of think they'll get at least 4 points. I think that's going to be enough to get them to finish as one of those best placed third teams, and then Curaçao, I think they'll just be delighted to be there, but I don't see them really getting much out of the tournament. All right, so we'll move on to our final group that we're going to look at today. We'll cover obviously we'll talk about, this will be the first half of the groups in this episode, and then we'll kind of do the same thing for groups G till L in the next one. So this group consists of the Netherlands, Japan, UEFA Path B winner, which is Ukraine, Poland, Albania, or Sweden, one of those 4, and then Tunisia. With the opening match of that group being Netherlands against Japan on June the 14th. And I see this one being quite close, actually, to be honest with you. But I feel like Japan have done pretty well in recent World Cups, but I will say Netherlands take this 2-1.
Yes, I believe that the Netherlands, actually, I'm not so sure about that. So Japan is actually a really good team. They always perform at the World Cup. So I'm going to go with a 1-1 draw here between Japan and the Netherlands.
Okay. UEFA Path B winner against Tunisia. I think this is one that we could see Tunisia win, actually. I'm gonna say 1-0 Tunisia.
Let me see who's gonna be the Path B.
Yeah, so it's Ukraine, Poland, Albania, or Sweden.
Yeah, I'm gonna actually go for Tunisia. I'm gonna do a 2-1 to Tunisia here. I'm gonna predict that. Tunisia is actually a really good team. They really do well. They beat France in the last World Cup. I don't know if you remember that.
Yeah,
so
I do.
I really see them winning that game. Yeah.
Yeah. Cool. Okay. Well, we both went for Tunisia to win their opening game. Nice. June 20th for match day 2 of this group, Netherlands against the UEFA Path B winner. I think I'm going to back Netherlands again here. I think I'm going to say they win this 2-0.
Yes. I believe that, Netherlands 2-0. Yeah, I would predict that too. Yeah, definitely.
Okay. And then Tunisia against Japan is the other one. This feels like it could be a difficult one. to predict as well.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to go for a draw here. I'm going to go 1-1.
Japan and Tunisia. I'm actually gonna go for Tunisia again. 2-1 here for Tunisia.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Japan. So then the game 3 of this group is or the third match day of this group, I should say, June 25th. Japan against the UEFA Path B winner. I see Japan getting the win here. I think they're going to win 2-0.
Yes, so yeah, Japan and UEFA Path B. Yeah, 2-0 for Japan. Is that what you said, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm gonna go there. I really don't expect anything from the UEFA Path B winner, honestly. So I'm gonna predict a 2-1 victory actually from Japan here.
Yeah. Cool. And then the final game of that group, and the final game that we're going to cover today, Tunisia against the Netherlands. I think this is actually going to be probably a good game. I think it could be closer than we think. I'm going to say it's going to finish as a draw, 2-2.
So I see a 3-1 for the Netherlands here. Yeah, I think the Netherlands will need points after. I believe I predicted a draw against the Japan.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so I really see them. They're gonna try to get as many points as possible here. So I'm gonna go with them and say that we're gonna have a 3-1 victory for Netherlands.
Okay, great. So for the final time today, I will preview the group itself. So I have with my predictions. I think I predicted Netherlands winning 2 of their 3 and then drawing 1. So there'll be I have them top on 7 points. Then I have Tunisia in second. I have Japan in third, and I have the UEFA Path B team in fourth.
Yeah, so I want to say, okay, based on my predictions, yeah, definitely it's gonna be the Netherlands, finishing first, and I believe that Tunisia is gonna finish second, Japan third, and then UEFA Path B winner, finishing fourth. So those are my predictions.
Okay. Cool. Just what before we are done on the World Cup for this episode, I just wanted to ask you about the Ivory Coast, and since I feel like it'd be good for us to talk about the countries that we're going to be supporting and representing.
Yes.
What are you expecting to see from them from this World Cup? What would you be happy with?
Honestly, we've never gotten out of the group, but obviously now it's a group, it's a World Cup with 48 teams. So if they even get out of the group, it's only going to be the round of 32. I don't think that's good enough. I'm hoping that we can make it to the round of 16. That'll be really great. I'll be very proud, to be around the round of 16. So that's where I see them ending. It would be great if they could go further than that, but I don't see them passing the round of 16, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Yeah, I really believe they can finish second. Hopefully, they can prove me wrong by beating Germany. But I just hopefully they can beat Germany. I'm gonna support them. Obviously, I'm gonna hope they win. But based on prediction, this is what I'm predicting. And finishing second of this group will be amazing for Ivory Coast. Anyways, so yeah, I'm gonna be there for the game. So we'll see what happens.
That's awesome, and I'm really excited for you to be able to support your home country at this World Cup. I know they've missed out on the last couple of editions of the World Cup, so it's great to see them back and competing again.
Yeah, and then before we also move forward to the next section of the episode, I wanted to talk about the World Cup tickets. I know this is a big deal. Everybody's mad about it. As of December 14, 2024, the average cost for any team to follow the team is going to be about $7,000. So if you have a team that go from the the first game to the final, you're going to spend about $7,000 US. That's an insane amount of money. Apparently, that's 300% more expensive than in Qatar. So obviously, we're kind of expecting like, this is the US. Like any game here is expensive. Europe is like a lot cheaper. I just don't understand how an average person from from, let's say, not Qatar, because Qatar is a rich country, but let's say an average person, let's pick a country, right? And
I
for
mean,
Paraguay, right?
Curacao or
Yeah,
Paraguay, yeah.
Paraguay, right? Like, I mean, obviously, the cost of living there is a lot cheaper than here in the US. $1,000 here, like, go way further out there. Like, you can live like a king there with $1,000. So how is this average person is expected to afford $7,000? For that's the cheapest tickets, by the way. That's the cheapest. That's like you're like the very top there. You're not like So I saw some people online were saying that if I pay $7,000 for World Cup, I better go. I better be like handing the trophy. You know what I mean? Which even makes sense. What do you think about that, Elliot? I think this is insanely expensive, honestly.
I think honestly, it's an insult to fans that they're trying to charge as much as they are. It feels very exploitative of fans, and it's a disgrace, if you ask me. I think this it just feels like a cash grab at the expense of genuine fans, and I think a lot of people are going to be missing out on attending games because they just don't have the funds for it, and that's there's yeah, I don't know. I could voice some more opinions, so I'm gonna leave those. I'm gonna leave those out of a football related podcast. But I think I think FIFA have got to make some changes. I mean, there's been calls. I know there's been some calls from different supporters groups around the world for FIFA to just halt ticket sales completely until they drop some of the prices. And yeah, I don't know. I think for the real genuine fans that want to be there, want to support their teams, it's going to be a big barrier, and that's a shame, because you want genuine fans of teams to be in the stadiums and supporting their teams. But anyway, we'll see what happens. I hope FIFA decides to make some changes, because it feels like a little bit of it, quite an insult to football fans across the world with the way they've kind of set up the pricing structure.
Absolutely.
Okay, we're back, and we're going to talk about the Africa Cup of Nations. So, Christian, why don't you kick us off?
Yes, so Africa Cup of Nations, we're going to have Morocco, Mali, Zambia, and Comoros. So I believe that Morocco is going to finish top of the group, followed by actually Mali second, Zambia third, and Comoros fourth. What about you, Elliot?
Okay, yeah, I think Morocco will probably win the group too, and I believe they're the host country, correct? They're hosting all the games in the tournament, so they'll have the home advantage. Yeah, I think they'll finish top. I think Mali second, Zambia third, Comoros fourth. That's exactly what you said, but I will agree with you.
Yes. So Group B, we're going to have Egypt, South Africa, Angola, and Zimbabwe. So I believe that South Africa is actually top the group. Egypt second, Angola third, and Zimbabwe fourth.
Interesting. Again, based on my limited knowledge of African football, I kind of go similar to you, but I put Egypt at the top, South Africa in second, Angola third, and Zimbabwe fourth.
Okay, Group C, we're going to have Nigeria, Tunisia, Uganda, and Tanzania. So I'm going to go with Nigeria topping the group, Tunisia second, Uganda third, and Tanzania fourth.
Okay. And I think I'll go Tunisia top, Nigeria second, Uganda third, and Tanzania fourth.
Okay, Group D, I'm going to do Senegal first, DR Congo second. It's going to be very close, though. Benin third, and Botswana fourth.
Okay. Yeah, I think I don't know, that this is where my not so good knowledge of African football is going to trip me up a little bit, but I do feel like DR Congo have a pretty good team. That being said, I will say Senegal are going to top the group. I think DR Congo will come second, and then I think it could be either one of Benin or Botswana third and fourth. If I had to pick, I'm going to say Botswana third, Benin fourth, but that could be a very, very bad shout on my part. But we'll find out.
Yeah. Group E, we're gonna have Algeria, Burkina Faso, Equatorial Guinea, and Sudan. So Algeria top, Burkina Faso second, Equatorial Guinea third, and Sudan fourth.
Yeah, I'm going to agree with you on that one too. I think Algeria, Burkina Faso, Equatorial Guinea, and then Sudan.
All right. So Group F, Ivory Coast, Cameroon, Gabon, and Mozambique. So I'm actually I have tickets to Ivory Coast, Cameroon, which will be exciting in Morocco. So I'm gonna attend that game. But I think Ivory Coast is gonna finish top of the group. Cameroon second, Gabon third. Actually, no. No. I'm gonna predict Ivory Coast top of the group, Gabon second, Cameroon third, and Mozambique fourth. That's my prediction.
Okay. Yeah, I was going to say Ivory Coast, current African champions. Let's hope they can repeat that again this year. I think they'll top the group. I agree with you on that. I think Cameroon will finish in second. I think Gabon will finish in third, and Mozambique will finish in fourth.
Yes. So now I'm gonna predict the 4 teams that will be at the in the semifinal. So I'm gonna predict Morocco, and I'm gonna predict Senegal. Actually gonna predict Algeria, and I want to say Ivory Coast. I think we're gonna have a deep run for that World Cup of that run, African Cup of Nations. So Ivory Coast, Algeria, Senegal, and I think I said Egypt, right? No, and Morocco.
Oh yeah, Morocco.
Morocco, yeah.
Yeah, I think my prediction is going to be similar to you. Those final 4 in the semifinals, I think it's going to be Morocco, Senegal, Egypt, and Ivory Coast.
Yeah, I should predict Algeria, but yeah, because Algeria, for some reason, every time we have a World Cup in North Africa, they always have a deep run. So I'm gonna go with that.
That's true. That's true.
That's why I picked them over Egypt. But yeah, and then the teams that North African teams, they, other than Egypt, they don't really. I mean, and that's not being weird or like being biased or anything. Other than Egypt, they don't really perform in the African nations outside of North Africa. Whenever it's a World Cup, not a World Cup, African nations is Sub-Saharan Africa, they don't really perform well, other than Egypt. But whenever it's in North Africa, they have at least 2 teams in the semifinal. So that's when I say Morocco. I'm gonna say Algeria, Ivory Coast, and Senegal. But then, who do you think is gonna go in the final?
Oh, I think it's going to be between. This is a tough one. I think Morocco for sure. Again, we got to back Ivory Coast on this podcast, man. We have to. Morocco against Ivory Coast, I think, is going to be the final.
I would love that to happen, but then I'm gonna predict the whole North African final. So I'm gonna predict Algeria and Egypt to the final. And then I see Ivory Coast finishing 4th at this World Cup. Not the World Cup. I wish at this African Cup of Nations. I see Ivory Coast finishing 4th, and then Senegal finishing 3rd, and then I see Morocco. Sorry, not Morocco. I do see Algeria finishing 2nd and Morocco winning the whole thing. So I don't see anyone stopping Morocco at this World Cup. They're gonna be at home. They're the best team in Africa by far. I really don't see them not winning this African Cup of Nations. What do you think, Elliot?
Yeah, I do think I'm with you on that. I think that I think Morocco will probably win the title at the end of it. Yeah, that's it. And you make a good point too about it being played in North Africa. I mean, across Africa as a continent, there's just so many different climates and so much so much variation there. And I think it's a good point that the North African teams, I think, will have the advantage in that sense. So yeah, I guess we're both going to say Morocco to win it all.
Yes, so yeah, because actually as the time of recording, December 14 is starting in a week from now, the African Cup of Nations, and then so we'll see. It's gonna end early January, so we'll know by early January who the winner is. So we'll see about our predictions.
Do you have a team that you think will be a surprise, like not expected to do so well, but will actually kind of be more impressive than expected?
So the team that I see going for, I mean, I don't see any other the other teams other than Ivory Coast, Senegal, Morocco, and Algeria. That's kind of expected for them to be in the semifinal. But I see a dark horse. I'm gonna pick, if I have to pick one among those groups, I'm actually gonna pick Gabon, because Gabon has been
Okay.
actually a really good team. They were very close. They had like 23 points out of 10 games. They were very close to Ivory Coast. We only beat them by 1 point to go to the World Cup. So I see them going to the quarterfinals, at least. That's where I predict for them to end the group to end. So I see that them being there, but I really don't see any big surprise. I think the big dogs are gonna show up here, because this is like a preparation for the World Cup too, for the big teams. Morocco, Ivory Coast, and all those teams. So I don't really see any surprises at this African Cup of Nations this year.
Yeah.
What about you, Elliot? Do you think there'll be a dark horse?
I don't know. There always kind of is one, even if they don't go far in the tournament, that they impress without realizing. I mean, I'm gonna have to take your word on this one. I'm not as familiar with international football in Africa as I'd like to be, and I think I'm gonna stick with you, and I'm gonna say, if you feel like Gabon is going to be a dark horse, or have the potential to be a dark horse, I trust your judgment. I trust your opinion on that. I don't feel like I know well enough to be able to make my own independent call. Another cop out. How many we start doing a tally of how many cop out answers I've had in this episode. Yeah, cool. Okay. Well, we will take another short break, and then we'll go around the leagues.
We want to thank our sponsor, Bill's Treasury app. Bill's Treasury app is an application that allows people to track, manage, and pay the bills in one location. So it's simple to use. It's free to download. You're able to add your bills on the application. You get reminders when they are due, and then you just stay on top of them. It allows you to better manage your finances and improve your credit score significantly. It's available on the App Store and Google Play for free. You can download with a QR code that you see on your screen for free. So we want to thank Bill's Treasury app for the sponsorship.
All right, time to go around the leagues, and we will start with the Premier League. Just a kind of quick check-in on where everyone's at. So we have Arsenal at the top, Man City in second, and surprisingly, Aston Villa sit there in third. Aston Villa have been in great form recently. They just won again today. Just 3 points behind Arsenal now. Chelsea in fourth. I think Aston Villa doing so well is kind of, they've put themselves in a title race conversation a little bit potentially with their recent form. Doing really well. I think, as far as I feel like, some of the strugglers, Tottenham struggling a little bit. Bournemouth had a great start, and they've really dropped off in the last few weeks. And then Wolves have just been pretty terrible, to be honest. They yet to win a game. They got 2 points after 16 games. Not looking good. But any thoughts from you?
So I believe that you're going to talk about the Premier League. So the Prem has changed a lot, since we last talked. Chelsea's hopefully still top four. We keep dropping points in December. Like, that's insane. Like, we're like actually 6 points from Arsenal 2 weeks ago at the time of this recording, December 14. We're like 6 points behind them. We're playing at home. Even though we drew against them, we're doing good, and we dropped points at Leeds and then Bournemouth, and we beat Everton, but like we're still fourth. I mean, I'm not gonna complain because we're not, we're not like really down there, like mid-table. After 16 games, we're almost halfway through the whole thing. So, I mean, we don't really know what's gonna happen. I'm just happy that Arsenal lost the lead by like they had like 8 points at one point in time. But Elliot,
It
seven
was,
or eight
yeah.
points, and now they're only 2 points after 16 games. So they almost actually drew against the Wolves there today, yesterday, December 13. So they almost actually lost the lead. So I mean, this is a positive here that Arsenal is definitely probably not gonna win the league again as a Chelsea fan, but Aston Villa is actually doing really good. They were really low on the table, and all of a sudden now they're third. They're above us by 5 points above us. So this league is just so unpredictable, man. And Liverpool, that were top of the league, they're 10 points behind Arsenal now. They're six. They obviously can still make it to Champions League. But I want to really give hats off to Man United. They are eighth, but they have 25 points. They're only 3 points behind us. A team that has been like people were just thought they were just dead and buried, but now they're actually coming back. And then Tottenham, oh my God, when are they gonna stop embarrassing themselves? Like, come on. 22 points. I know they're only 6 points behind us, but like, come on, like they were above us, last time we recorded this podcast, and now they're 5 points, 6 points behind us, and are 11th of the league. So this Premier League is incredible, man. Like, I think whenever we do the next episode, this whole thing's gonna be different. Arsenal probably are gonna lose their lead. I don't see them keeping the lead for long. And then the bottom, Wolves, they should just pack the bag at this point. They're not coming back from this. And then what do you think, Elliot?
Yeah, Wolves definitely going down. I think a word on, like you said, on Man United, as much as it pains me to say, they've kind of quietly gone under the radar and done quite well this season. Very much enjoying their downfall up to this point, but they've I mean, you've got to give them credit. They've done well. I also think Sunderland have been fantastic so far this season. They're sitting up there in 7th right now, one of the newly promoted teams. Really kind of disproving the rule of the last couple of years that there's a big gap between the teams that come up from the Championship and the Premier League, but they've really excelled so far. And then, I guess the last thing I'll say on Arsenal is, if Arsenal don't win the league this season, I think people have got to start really talking about, is Arteta a fraud? That's maybe a topic for another time, but he's only won one trophy in his time. It's the FA Cup in his first season. Despite all the money that they spent, despite every year supposedly being their year, they still somehow managed to find ways to lose their lead. And I think we got to, maybe that's a topic for another time. But I think if Arsenal do not win the league, people got to really start talking about whether Arteta is actually a serious manager or not.
Yeah, but that's fine.
Anyway, what league would you like to take a look at next?
La Liga McDonald's.
Okay.
Wow. PSG is not top of the league. What? As of this, after 16 games, they are. Lens is 37. First top of the group, 16 points, 37 points, 1 point ahead of PSG. Marseille is actually doing really good. They are third. Lyon is fifth. And LOSC, Lille is fourth. Maybe I should put Marseille to this league because, I mean, it was kind of boring for a while because PSG was always winning every game. But now they are. Lens is actually top of the league, which is really interesting, but we all know what's going to happen at the end of the season anyways. PSG is going to win this whole thing. But what do you think?
I was going to say, I'm a little surprised that PSG have kind of dropped off in form a little bit since last season. Obviously, they had a good end to the season winning the Champions League, and they, kind of came into this season as probably one of, if not the strongest team in Europe. But, I mean, they've still won 11 out of their 16 games. that's a pretty good return. But and I think they probably still end up winning the league in total. But it's good to see this league a little bit more competitive. I feel like that's been one of the criticisms that we've had and that many people have had over the years of Ligue 1, is that it's just not as competitive as it should be. But yeah, I think this season it's been a lot more interesting, and we'll be keeping tabs on it for sure. We'll be seeing how it goes.
Okay, so La Liga. Actually, Real Madrid was doing really well. They are 4 points behind Barcelona now, which is incredible. People were saying that Xabi Alonso was going to lose his job. They are second in the league. Like, you see, this is what I'm just so surprised when it comes to. They are such high standard, Real Madrid. I mean, it's totally understandable, but you guys are second in the league, and we're only in December. You have 4 points off the third team. Like, you're good. Like, you sure you're not in the best form possible. You only lost twice in the league, drew 3 times. You're only 4 points behind Barcelona. And you're calling to sack Xavi? Like, I would never understand Xabi Alonso. I never understand this. But it's incredible, man. They have
it's a weird one because he's a new coach that's come in, slightly different way of playing, kind of more of a system-based kind of his identity that he wants to bring to the team. The reality is that just takes time, and the fact that his job is under threat already when they are second in the league and they're performing decently well in the Champions League, it's just crazy to me. Like, I just it's mad that that's even a question. It was still so early on in his time at Real Madrid. It takes time. It takes time for a new manager to come in and build the team how they want to build the team. And yeah, I mean, they've definitely had a drop off in recent weeks. But every team's going to have that throughout the season, pretty much. Most seasons, most team is going to have a little drop in form, and at what point you go, well, just sack the manager after every drop in form? I mean, you end up with 4 or 5 managers in 2 or 3 years at that point. So, I think one other thing I'll say on La Liga is Villarreal have been excellent so far domestically this season, sitting up in third. They are, like you said, just 4 points behind Real Madrid. Other than that, I don't really see too many other shocks or surprises. I think it's that Barcelona Real Madrid title race is gonna keep going, but currently it's advantage Barcelona.
Yes, so La Bundesliga, Bayern Munich. They haven't lost a game yet. They are undefeated, and they are just, I see them winning this comfortably. They are 9 points ahead of the close competitors. So yeah, I see Bayern Munich winning this whole thing. RB Leipzig second, Dortmund third, Leverkusen fourth. I mean, there's nothing really to talk about here. I think that nothing has really changed, other than Leverkusen. Obviously, they're coming back stronger because they sacked Ten Hag. They're fourth of the season now, so very too early to predict the other things. But I really see that Bayern Munich is gonna comfortably win this whole thing, especially with Harry Kane already scoring 18 goals in 14 games, which is insane.
I know. As an England fan with that kind of form going into the World Cup. Yes, we want to see that. I think Bayern are in a very comfortable spot. I don't really see too many changes in the coming weeks. I don't see them really having a drop off. Leverkusen, like you said, have kind of got themselves back into the top 4 after a rough start to the season, and Leipzig after a rough season last year. Credit to them, are performing very well so far this season. So, other than that, not really too much to say. Should we move on to Serie A?
Yes, Serie A.
Well, that one is another kind of close title race.
Mm-hmm.
Inter at the top currently with 33 points, then AC Milan a point behind them on 32, Napoli a point behind them on 31. So there's kind of three teams there at the top. You could include Roma in that as well. Then maybe they're a little bit too far away from a title race conversation at the moment, but yeah, it looks like it's going to be between the two Milan teams.
Yes, so we have Inter Milan and Milan. Inter Milan has 33 points, 1 point ahead of Milan. Napoli's third, and then Roma's fourth, and then Juventus fifth. So obviously it's going to be a very interesting season. And yeah, I keep saying I need to keep watching. I need to like buy a subscription to watch Serie A. I'm really regretting it every time we started the episode, because wow, this is incredible. It's like it's become like the Premier League, where teams kind of switch up every week. Very interesting. So we'll see what happens.
Yeah, very, very competitive. I think one thing that I'll say, looking at the table, that's a surprise to me is Atalanta. They're down in 12th at the moment. They're a team that's been up near the top in previous years. They had a change of manager as well. They've been kind of going through a transition. So, to an extent, I can see that. But surprised to see them down in 12th. That seems a little low compared to where we would expect them to be.
Liga Portugal. All right, man. So this league hasn't really changed. We have the big three. We have Porto, Sporting, and Benfica. Actually, I don't think Porto was above Sporting before, so it's changed a little bit. Yeah, the top three are there, so it's gonna be between them who's gonna win the league, and then we're gonna see what's gonna happen, obviously, for the rest of the teams in the Liga Portugal.
Yeah, we've talked about this before. Porto kind of had a rough season last season, but they've got themselves back on track, and they are sitting 2 points ahead at the moment. There's, then there is a little bit of a gap between Sporting in second and Benfica in third, 3-point gap. Benfica obviously kind of had a rough start to the season. They brought in Jose Mourinho as well, so seems to be kind of shoring up their defense a little bit more, I guess, as you'd expect from him. And yeah, this is one that's it's going to be between those three, and advantage to Porto currently.
Okay. Yep.
All right. Yeah, I was going to say we've decided that we're going to start talking more about MLS because it's the league of the country that we both live in. So, for at least for me, if I go see professional football at the moment, it's great to see an MLS team that's close to where I live, and I think the league's just got a lot more interesting as well. They just had the MLS Cup final. Oh gosh, when was it? Like a week or so ago, and Inter Miami and
against Vancouver. So it was like Messi against Muller, because Thomas Muller, the former Bayern Munich player,
that's right,
obviously the legend of Germany, moved to Vancouver out of all places, which is incredible. Like I could have never predicted like a year ago that Muller was gonna play for Vancouver one day. Never would have thought, but he did actually a really good job. He put a lot of effort and made a huge impact on that team. And then, they ended up making it to the MLS final. And then obviously they lost to Inter Miami. Messi is the MVP of the league, MVP of the MLS Cup. I watched the whole game. Vancouver actually dominated that game, pretty much the whole game, in possession, in pretty much everything, shots on target. But, Miami was just a more lethal team, the team that actually took the chances, and they ended up winning the whole thing. So, congratulations to Messi. It was the last game ever for Jordi Alba and Sergio Busquets, Barcelona legends and Spanish legends too, in the Spanish national team. And obviously David Beckham, his dream came true. He was able to carry a team that he started from scratch to win the whole thing. So, yeah, I think it was really good. And definitely in our upcoming episodes, I know we're not gonna have any MLS until February or March, but we're gonna include that league in our around the league section going forward.
Yes, absolutely. yeah, not too much more to say. I think
Mhm.
next the season kind of runs a little differently to the European calendar, so yeah, like you said, they'll start back up again in February and see if Miami can defend that MLS Cup title again. Right. Well, let's before we finish, let's take a quick look at the UEFA tournaments as well. Kind of check in and see where we're at in the Conference League. We'll start there. We have Strasbourg currently top of that league table after 5 games. Yeah, obviously last season with Chelsea being in the competition, we had a lot more to talk about with the Conference League, but this year I don't know. I'm not really taking as much of an interest in it, to be quite honest.
Yeah. I mean, that's weird to say, obviously, if you are watching on YouTube, you're going to see the table, but, there's not much to talk about. Strasbourg is top of the league. The bottom team is Rapid Wien. I don't even know where they're from. But yeah, that's the Conference League for you.
Yes. Europa League. So Europa League, we have Lyon, Midtjylland, and Aston Villa all kind of joint top on points with 15 points. Then Real Betis, Freiburg, and Ferencváros. Sorry if I said that wrong. On 14 points. So we kind of got 6 teams all separated by 1 point there. Pretty close. They've had 6 games so far. Bottom of their league table, kind of surprisingly, is Nice. The French team, Nice, have struggled in the Europa League this season so far. Got to say, I think, Aston Villa, we talked about them a little bit in the Premier League section, but, they've been doing really well in this competition as well. Lyon, top performances. Midtjylland, I think they're a team from Denmark, which they're flying high at the moment, which is great for them. Roma down in 10th, Porto in 8th. But it's really all quite close on points. I mean, if we're looking at the table, from 17th all the way up to 1st is only a 5-point gap. So, 1 or 2 wins for teams either way could very quickly change that. So I'm sure the next time we check in on this table, it will look very different.
Absolutely. Now we're going to talk about the Champions League, the greatest league in the world. So Arsenal won every single game they're undefeated in the Champions League so far, 18 points. But again, doesn't really matter. Doesn't mean that you're going to win the whole thing. But anyways, congrats to them. You have to really congratulate them because that's not an easy thing to do. Bayern Munich right behind them with 15 points. We have PSG third with 13 points. City with 13 points as well. And then Real Madrid has been struggling a little bit. They lost twice, and then they have 12 points. Liverpool also has been struggling a little bit. They're 9th with 12 points. But then we have Chelsea that has been really struggling. Very disappointing. We could have at least drawn on the last game against Atalanta, and then we should have won the game, I believe, against Karabag. We should have won that game. That would have put us, among the top 8. So it looks like we might go to the playoffs, but obviously there's 2 games left, and I believe the next 2 games in the Champions League. Do you know who we're playing next, Elliot? Champions League?
We play Paphos.
Oh my God!
Away in Cyprus, and then is it Cyprus? Yes, Paphos in Cyprus, and then our final game is.
Oh my God!
Actually, no. I think we play Paphos at Stamford Bridge, and then we play Napoli in Naples. So that's, I mean, I think from a Chelsea perspective, I think it's going to be a very, very tough ask for us to finish in that top 8. I think we're going to have to win both of those games and hope that results go our way for other teams for us to finish in that top 8. I really do think looking back, we'll look at that Karabag performance and probably the one at Atalanta as well as 2 kind of missed opportunities. I mean, Atalanta did play quite well the other week, but we also were quite poor in a lot of places. So Yeah, Arsenal. I mean, you have to give credit to Arsenal. I mean, they've let their lead slip a little bit in the Premier League, but they've managed to stay consistent in the Champions League. They've only conceded one goal in the entire league phase. They beat Bayern Munich, which is kind of a big statement win for them. So, yeah, I think 6 games in, there's 2 more games for all the teams. Those are coming up in January, I think, and then we'll kind of have So I would hope by our next episode we'll have a much better idea of how this final table is going to look and who's going into the playoffs and all of that kind of thing. So yeah, shaping up to be a good end to the league phase.
Absolutely, it's going to be very interesting.
Yeah. All right. Well, we're going to wrap up there for today. Lots happening, lots still to come. We are obviously excited for the World Cup. Like you said, we'll continue looking through them, predicting the rest of the group phase in our next episode, and then we'll kind of talk through the knockout stages. But yeah, excited to see too when we talk next how things are going in the Africa Cup of Nations. I know you're going to be traveling, so I hope you have safe travels and enjoy your time away. And again, thanks to everybody for listening. We hope you enjoy the holiday season. And yeah, we'll be back in 2026.
All right. Merry Christmas and Happy New Year. See you in
All right.
2026. Thanks for listening and watching us on YouTube.